Once upon a time, wolves were either admired or greatly feared. But how an animal could be so loved and so hated at the same time? This is Silent Night, and it is now our turn to tell the story of the wolf.
Our film was inspired by old Disney movies as well as more recent ones, like Loth. Our main goal was to blur the line between 2D and 3D, as well as to recreate that classical style with an added modern touch. And while mixing the two might also have played a big part in our project, we also chose to use 2D as a tool to differentiate between the wolves and the human's perspective.
Our story takes place in a snowy forest, where everything is optimized and feels like an illustration. To bring life to this environment, the ground was made with simple shapes and then covered with stylized trees and hand-painted plants on cards.
The film needed props assets done for modeling to look dev and eventually rigging. Our main props was adapted and made feasible in 3D. Each plank was carefully placed by hand to truly capture the desired style. In film, we only see the cabin from certain angles, and thanks to this, we save time by not modeling or texturing hidden parts.
We wanted our characters to feel alive, to tell a story through their contrasts and similarities. For example, Raymond is imposing but soft, with an almost sheep-like face, while Anne, by contrast, shares the wolf's sharp features as well as protectiveness. Our main challenge was to make our 3D look 2D, and to do so, we opted for angular shapes and flat texture to fit both our characters as well as the look of our environment.
Our 4 characters had to be delivered swiftly. One of the challenges was to quickly adapt the topology and the rig to suit animators' needs, so they would have more time to polish their animation. Additionally, for the topology part, we tried to build our character thinking about the way they were moving, in order to reinforce certain strong poses of our characters.
During pre-production, we set the ambiances. We chose a minimal but intentional lighting to focus on the storytelling while optimizing time and rendering. We finalized the image in compositing by using the albedo pass at the base. We added textures and paint effects on it with procedural masks and custom tools. All those elements allowed us to bring our film to life.
As soon as we got the first version of the script, we began sketching a rough storyboard. We chose to exaggerate camera movements in 2D shots compared to 3D ones, to emphasize on Mother's Wolf's point of view and make it feel more alive.
Since we are 3 animators, we decided to specialize on specific characters. I mainly focused on the she-wolf, Léonie on Anne, and Kylian on the wolf pup. To apply with the artistic direction, we choose to animate in 2 styles, to give it a 2D animation feel. For the wolves, we spend a lot of time gathering references, as well as similar quadrupeds like huskies or foxes.
For the layout, the goal was to save Juliette's time. So we created a blocking of the environment based on different storyboard framing. For the wolf pup, we wanted to give in an animation that was both playful and clumsy. We used references from my dog to capture his playful side.
Without dialogue, every look, posture and micro-expression had to express deep emotions. Each movement were meticulously crafted to resonate with the audience, making the character feel alive and relatable despite the absence of words.
Forging the rigs for our animators' friend was a pretty big part in the project. To start the animation as soon as possible, we chose to provide updatable rig, which made it possible to add later a more polished version without blocking animation. Because we had 4 characters, we chose to mainly focus on key expressions to build facial rigs. Using expression sheets helped us a lot, but we had to be careful to not add too much.
To give life to our story, we chose tonal harmony for 2D FXs and 2D shots with the less camera movements, while we animated on Blender's grease pencil for those with large camera traveling, which required a 3D environment made out of planes.
Thanks for watching!